Since you're watching this video, I'm sure you're well aware of the most recent non-farm payrolls report released December 3rd, and I'm sure you're well aware that this report missed pretty badly. The estimate was for 550,000 jobs added in the month of November, but the report reported only 210,000 jobs added for that month. In this video, I'm going to talk about why that miss probably wasn't as bad as it seems. And yes, there were also other obviously good parts about that report. I want to talk about those metrics as well. But the main thing that I wanted to point out in this video is why the actual job numbers release itself really wasn't that bad. So let's start off by doing a very quick overview of the most important numbers from the non-farm payrolls report. So we'll go here to bls.gov, we'll go to economic releases, employment and unemployment, and then we'll click here on the employment situation. And the 5 most commonly looked at numbers from the non-farm payrolls report are, well, 1, the payroll numbers themselves, 2, the unemployment rate, 3, the labor force participation rate, 4, average hourly earnings, and 5, the average weekly hours. So we have 5 numbers from this report that are closely followed, and those 5 numbers are extracted from 2 different surveys, and that's the part that isn't commonly known. There are actually 2 separate surveys that these numbers are extracted from. So we can see them here. Table A, we have a household survey. Table B, we have an establishment survey. So let's look at the household survey. So here we can see the two of the important numbers that are followed from the survey are the labor force participation rate and the unemployment rate, right? And so from the survey, we gather the civilian non-institutional population and then the civilian labor force. And the labor force is basically just the people who are either currently employed or who are currently looking for work. So basically anyone in the, surprise, labor force, right? And by simple math, we can get the participation rate of 61.8% for the month of November. And we can see that that has been steadily increasing over the past few months. Obviously a good thing. And then right here, we have the total number of people in America who are currently unemployed. So basically the number of people who have been looking for work but have been unable to find work for 4 weeks or more, right? And then again, by using simple math, we can extract our unemployment rate of 4.2% for the month of November. And we can see that that number has been steadily decreasing over the past few months, which again is good. So from the household survey, we have our participation rate and the unemployment rate and 2 beats from this survey. All right, so we talked about 5 numbers before. So where are the other 3 numbers? Well, they're here in the establishment survey. So right here, we have our non-farm payrolls number and our non-farm payrolls numbers. And we'll go back to that in a minute. And then here, let me get rid of myself so you can see. So right here we have average weekly hours at 34.8, and that's basically unchanged over the past few months and from last year. And we also have our average hourly earnings of $31.03. And as you can see, that number has been steadily increasing. And that's good. We want that number to increase somewhat. We don't want that number to increase too fast, because if it does, then it risks getting into a wage price spiral, right? And that can lead to very bad inflationary concerns. So these numbers are both good right here, right? So we can say that we have 2 beats here. But then here is the payrolls number, 210,000. So here, I actually wrote these numbers down in a spreadsheet for you to make it a bit easier, right? And instead of having everything listed out, I actually made it so where you can drill down. So we can see our estimates, and these numbers are in thousands, of course. So our estimates were for 550,000 new jobs in the month of November, but the establishment survey only reported 210,000 new jobs, right? And of that, 235,000 were total private jobs, and then we actually lost 25,000 government jobs. That we can drill down a bit further, see goods producing jobs 60,000, private producing jobs 175,000, and about half of goods producing was construction, the other half manufacturing, and then we lost a couple of thousand in mining and logging, and then manufacturing was about half durable, half non-durable goods. And then for our private service producing, I will not go through all of these numbers because you can see them yourselves. But basically, yeah, you can see that we lost some retail jobs, we gained a lot of transportation and warehousing jobs, and we gained a lot of professional and business service jobs. So that's that. So a miss right here, a pretty bad miss, to be honest. All right. Well, actually, what you can do on the BLS website, you can download an Excel sheet right here that tells you the number of jobs, the total number of jobs for each month since 1994. So let's go down here to the most recent month. And here, I actually made a column right here to simplify things, just showing the gain from last month. So here's our gain from last month, 210,000 jobs. And remember, this is from the establishment survey. But actually, what most people don't know is that the household survey also reports payrolls, but just nobody follows them. This number is not really paid attention to, but the household survey does report payrolls, and we can look at them by downloading a similar Excel file. And okay, that's the okay, here it is, the household survey. So right here, we have the total number of jobs for the household survey. And what I did again is I broke it down to where you can see the gain from last month. So from the establishment survey that we just looked at, we have a gain of 210,000 for last month. And that's the headline number that people look at, right? That's the miss that we've been talking about. We anticipated that there would be 550,000 new jobs, but there were only 210,000 new jobs. But in the household survey, it says 1.1 million new jobs. And of course, these numbers are thousands. And well, we can see a comparison right here, right? So I made this chart right here. So the household survey reports 1.1 million new jobs for the month of November. And the establishment survey reports 210,000 new jobs. And then I broke it down a bit further where you can just see the difference. So for the month of November, the household survey reported 926,000 more jobs than the establishment survey did. 926,000 more new jobs than the establishment survey did. And you can see some months, the household survey and the establishment survey report a somewhat similar increase or decrease in jobs. And then some months, the number is quite different. So why is that? And here's the point of this video. Here's the important part of this video. So why is that? Why is there a difference? Well, the household survey includes the unincorporated self-employed. That refers to people who work for themselves, not in corporate entities. So basically, if you start your own company, you show up in the household survey as employed, but you don't show up in the establishment survey. So it's not uncommon that as you come out of recessions, you have a lot of new business formation. You'll see a divergence in payrolls in the household survey and the establishment survey. So what's funny is this quote-unquote Great Resignation that so many people talk about might just be the great, I'm not working for somebody else anymore. In the past few months, we've seen record levels of business formation, which is likely or definitely why these two surveys are so different right now. And right here, let me, and you can even see this, right? Look right here. This is from the St. Louis Fed website, right? stlouisfed.org. And this is the total number of business applications for the United States. And right here I have for the past 10 years. So you can see the total number of business applications from 2011 to 2019 or to 2020 increased slightly. It was more or less flat. And then at the beginning of the pandemic, we had this large decrease in applications, in new business applications, followed by a very sharp increase. And we've been bouncing around since then, and we're still much, much higher than we were pre-pandemic. And keep in mind, this is applications for new businesses, just for that month, new applications for that month. So this number isn't a composite or anything, right? Just new applications for that month. So for October, right, we don't have November number. Well, we do. Okay, so for October, we had 432,101. So it was updated November 10th, but this summer it's for October. And we don't have the numbers for November yet, but presumably they're fairly high, right? We will have the numbers for November in a couple of days, but presumably they're very high, right? And I mean, this does not match up perfectly, but, well, here, what I did is I put this in chart format. So here's the chart since 1994. So this chart is basically, right, just this right here. So the number of, the difference of new jobs reported by the household survey and the establishment survey. So it's number of new jobs in the household survey minus the number of new jobs in the establishment survey. So since 1994, well, that's kind of messy. So here, I made another chart since 2017. And look at this. It looks somewhat similar to this chart. Let's go to 2017. Looks somewhat similar, doesn't it? Not totally similar. But, right, we see that we have this big dip here at the beginning of 2020, so around the time that the pandemic started. And then we have a big spike, and then we just bounce around a little, and right, we mostly have higher numbers here. Here are those charts one more time, side by side. On the top, you have the 5-year chart I made, which shows the monthly gain in payrolls reported in the household survey minus the monthly gain in payrolls reported in the establishment survey. And on the bottom, you have the total number of new business applications every month for the past 5 years. So to sum up, you can see that this massive miss we've had in payrolls for the month of November is isolated to the information obtained from the establishment survey, and as you saw from the household survey, we actually had a very healthy employment gain for the month of November. And again, this difference just stems from the unincorporated self-employed. And that, like I said before, really explains most or all of this quote-unquote Great Resignation. So anyway, that's it. I hope you learned something from this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.